Karl Panzram, a tattooed 6-foot-tall giant of a man with cold grey eyes, stowed away on a ship bound for Angola around 1920 to work as a merchant seaman. After arriving in Lobito Bay, he hired a half-dozen local guides for a crocodile hunting expedition. But Panzram had other prey on his mind. As the canoe wended its way down the river, he shot each crew member dead before feeding their corpses to the hungry crocodiles lurking below. That was just one of the many crimes, including 21 murders and more than 1,000 rapes of young boys and men Panzram admitted to committing. Unlike charming and cunning serial killers Ted Bundy or Rodney Alcala, Panzram remained brutally honest. In his autobiography, penned in the prison cell, he said, "For all of these things, I am not the least bit sorry. I hate the whole damned human race, including myself." But could he really be that bad? Yes, at least according to experts who have studied him and found that the roots of his evil could be traced back to his childhood. Born in 1891 to a poor farming family in Minnesota, Panzram's father abandoned his family when he was about 8 years old. Soon after, Panzram landed in a reform school called Red Wing for a string of burglaries. Red Wing schooled Panzram in sadism, punishing him with beatings and rapes, which led him to a realization: the world is this shithole, and I'm going to go through the world and wreak havoc in it. After graduating, he spent years sleeping on freight trains. During one ride in a boxcar, he was gang raped by transients, leaving him a sadder, sicker, but wiser boy, as he noted in his musings from the prison. In 1915, he traveled through Idaho, California, and other states along the Columbia River, burning and burglarizing buildings and raping countless young men and boys. Around the same time, Panzram was sentenced to 7 years at the Oregon State Penitentiary for burglary. To punish his unruliness, the wardens hung him from the rafters for hours, turned a hose on him, and kept him in solitary confinement for weeks, leaving him to feed on cockroaches. Not long after escaping in 1918, Panzram committed his first murders. In New York, he hired sailors to work on a yacht bought with his robbery bounty, lulled them to sleep with alcohol, and shot them dead, all 10 of them. Soon after, he set sail for Angola, raping and killing a young boy before the crocodile hunting expedition. About a year later, he hit aboard a Lisbon-bound ship, only to find that the police there were on the lookout for him, aware of his crimes in Africa. So, soon after, he stowed away on a ship to the US. In 1928, Panzram was arrested for a series of burglaries and jailed in Washington, D.C. After Warden found out that he had tried to escape, the guards handcuffed and suspended him from a beam, beating him unconscious. Feeling sorry for Panzram, 26-year-old prison guard Henry Lesser handed him $1 to buy food and cigarettes. No one had ever been kind to him in his life. Over time, the two became friends. Each day, Lesser slipped him a pencil and a few sheets of paper, convincing him to write his life story. Panzram was sentenced to 25 years at the United States Penitentiary, Leavenworth in Kansas. There he crushed laundry foreman Robert Wong's skull with an iron bar, landing a spot on death row and refusing human rights groups' efforts to spare him from the gallows. After years of abuse, it was his form of suicide. Panzram got the death he craved in September 1930. Just before getting executed, he told the executioner, "Hurry it up, you Hoosier bastard. I could kill 10 men while you're fooling around." Lesser kept Panzram's writings, but publishers weren't comfortable with the graphic manuscript until 1970, when it was published as Killer, a journal of murder. Joe Coleman, who painted the cover art for the book, said, "The guy was really quite an amazing writer. I'm struck by the intelligence and the things he could have been capable of."